Chamboli Chronicles, The Adventures of Moses Kaputula by John Katibi, Episode 2, Bound by Blood, Moses' Fight for Family. The sun had barely risen over Chamboli Township when Moses Kaputula, affectionately known as Mosé, received the call that would set the course for the day. The caller was his sister, Rosemary, her voice trembling as she spoke. "Mosé, I need your help. Weston has gone too far this time." Moses felt a familiar surge of anger. Rosemary's husband, Weston Chitia, had always been a source of turmoil. Despite his outward charm, Weston was a narcissist who blamed Rosemary for their inability to have children and frequently beat her. Moses knew something had to change. Quickly, Moses got ready, taking care of his two boys before setting off on his motorcycle. The streets of Chamboli were coming alive with the sounds of vendors setting up their stalls and children playing. He made his way to Rosemary's house, his mind racing with thoughts of how to confront Weston without escalating the situation further. Rosemary's home was in a quieter part of the township. As he approached, he saw her standing outside, one eye already swelling and darkening from a recent blow. Her resilience struck him. Despite everything, she stood tall, determined. "Mosé," she began, her voice shaky but resolved. "I can't do this anymore. We need to see a medical expert, like I've been saying. I won't let him blame me without knowing the truth." Moses nodded. "You're right. We'll get through this together." Just then, Weston's voice boomed from inside the house. "Who's there?" he demanded, emerging with a scowl. Seeing Moses, his demeanor shifted to false cordiality. "Mosé, what a surprise." Moses suppressed his anger. "I'm taking Rosemary to the hospital. It's time to find out what's really going on." Weston's face darkened. "There's no need for that. The problem is obvious." "Obvious to you," Moses shot back, "but we'll hear it from a doctor." Ignoring Weston's protests, Moses guided Rosemary to his motorcycle. They rode in tense silence to the nearby clinic, where the doctor, Dr. Mbewe, was an old friend of the Kaputula family. After a thorough examination and several tests, Dr. Mbewe called them into his office. "I have the results," he said, looking serious. "It's important for both of you to understand this." Moses felt his heart pound. Rosemary gripped his hand tightly. Dr. Mbewe explained, "The tests indicate that the issue isn't with Rosemary. Weston should also get tested, as male infertility is not uncommon and can be treated." Relief and anger washed over Moses simultaneously. He knew Weston would never accept this easily. As they left the clinic, Rosemary looked both relieved and apprehensive. "How are we going to tell him?" she asked. "Leave that to me," Moses replied. "He needs to hear the truth." Back at Rosemary's house, Weston was waiting, his impatience visible. "Well?" he demanded. Moses stepped forward. "The doctor says you need to get tested too. Rosemary isn't the problem." Weston's face contorted with rage. "That's impossible. It's her fault, always has been." "No, Weston," Rosemary said firmly, surprising even herself with her strength. "We need to face this together or not at all." Weston's eyes flashed with fury, but Moses intervened. "You lay a hand on her again and you'll answer to me. Now be a man and get tested." For a moment it seemed Weston might lash out, but something in Moses's steely gaze stopped him. With a snarl, he turned and stormed out of the house. Moses and Rosemary spent the next few hours discussing her options. She confessed that she'd been saving some money, hoping to leave if things didn't improve. Moses admired her courage and promised to support her no matter what. Later that evening, Moses went to Chamboli Township to see his father, Mumbi Kaputula. Mumbi's weathered face was etched with concern. He said, "I heard what happened. How is Rosemary?" Moses recounted the day's events. Mumbi listened silently, his expression grave. Weston has always been a troubled man, but Rosemary is strong. She'll find her way. The week passed with a sense of cautious optimism. Rosemary decided to stay with Moses temporarily while Weston wrestled with his pride and the truth. True to his word, Moses supported her every step of the way, providing both emotional and financial support. On Saturday, as Moses indulged in his usual drinking session, his friends noticed his subdued mood. "What's eating at you, Mose?" one asked. "It's family stuff," he replied, his thoughts drifting back to Rosemary, "but we're handling it." Sunday morning found Moses in church, the familiar rituals bringing him a sense of peace. He prayed for strength for his family, for Rosemary's resilience, and even for Weston's enlightenment. In the weeks that followed, Weston grudgingly agreed to see a doctor. The diagnosis confirmed what Dr. Mbewe had suggested, and he began treatment. The process was slow and fraught with tension, but it was a start. Moses continued to be a pillar of support, balancing his responsibilities at the market, his duties as a father, and his role as a brother. His life in Chamboli was a testament to resilience and the unbreakable bonds of family. One evening, as the family gathered for a rare, peaceful dinner, Rosemary looked around the table and smiled. Despite the hardships, they were together, stronger than ever. And in that moment, Moses knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them united, embodying the indomitable spirit of Chamboli Township.